you're a shitty driver when your kid's telling you to hurry the fuck up. Hey, Dick, do you have any stories of you and I where I was a backseat driver?
You're always a backseat driver. It's a fucking nightmare. I don't know why it's so important that that I drive efficiently when you're in the car.
Because I'm your passenger.
Yeah.
And you should respect my time and get me where I'm going as fast as possible, even though you're driving and doing me a favor.
No, it's the psychology of it. There's something wrong with backseat drivers' brains.
What?
I brought in a bunch of like actual psychologists weighing in on this topic.
Let's
too.
hear these assholes.
This is what you're saying when you're a backseat driver. I don't trust you to handle this on your own. It's like if. Oh, is this ding?
Ding, correct. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
It's driving. How do you not trust someone to handle it on their own?
Because they're shitty drivers. I have friends who've gotten in tons of wrecks, rain slick dick, and I don't necessarily trust that you know exactly what you're doing, because sometimes I'll point out something. I've prevented accidents as by being a backseat driver, because I see my friends fucking up like, hey man, there's a car right fucking there. Why don't you swerve or hit on your brakes or honk or something? No, they just, I'll just slow down a little bit. And I'm like, well, they're not going to stop. You got to honk.
Yeah. Psychologist Ryan Howes says they offer unsolicited advice in an attempt to combat their own feelings of powerlessness. Like the realization that they cannot. Yeah. See? It's a deep psychological dysfunction that you people have. That you're trying to get, to work out on us.
It's not dysfunction.
It's like an addiction.
He just enumerated the exact phenomenon that's going on. That's not dysfunction. He's just stating what it is.
Okay.
I agree with it.
Here's a good one. Another psychologist conducted a study in which subjects were told that a sample of their blood would be taken. They could prick their own finger or have an experienced technician do it. People who fit, prick your own finger, or we're going to have a phlebologist, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
We're going to have a professional do it for you. People who fit the profile of a backseat driver did it themselves, because they're fucking stupid.
Okay, see, that's where I disagree. I would always...
You would prick your own finger, according to this study.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't prick my own finger.
They can't give it up. They can't give up that control, these backseat drivers.
It's not always about control, man. I know when to wrest control and when to give it up and when to, sit back and relax. Here's the thing. If I'm driving, I have certain friends who are such poor drivers, I literally have to pull my cell phone out of my pocket and tune out of what's going on.
Figuratively? Yeah.
I need to tune out of what's going on so that I don't lose my fucking mind.
And you need like a pacifier to distract yourself, because you have these deep psychological problems that these learned people are describing.
It's not that, Dick. It's like I have the exact same problem with drivers who are slow when I'm the passenger as I do watching someone else compute. It drives me out of my fucking mind.
Yes, this is a defect with you.
No.
That's what these people are saying.
Yes, I understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're just stating what it is. They're not stating what the psychological phenomenon is that is the dysfunction, supposedly alleged dysfunction. But here's the problem, Dick. When I see someone reach over for their mouse, I start to get anxiety. Because I know what I'm in store for is 1 to 3 seconds of them slowly dragging that fucking cursor across their desktop.
Not a big deal.
And then hunting for that little X to click. Oh, and then they start doing that little circle with their hand, the little circle where where it's essentially like a binary search for that X.
Getting
and they're getting a little bit closer.
Comfortable with the mouse.
Yeah, getting comfortable.
No big deal.
Where is that cursor again? And they look around on the screen and, oh, there it is. Okay, I see the cursor now. And then they slowly drag it across their desktop and like, oh my God, when is this going to end? And then they reach the X. They overshoot it a little bit by a few pixels, and then they move back a little bit more, and then they finally click it. I'm like, oh, thank God. You did that one fucking task, and it took 5 seconds of your fucking life. This is how you want to live your life? Like an asshole, clicking X's all the time with your mouse? Hit Control-W, shithead. Or Alt-F4. Or Shift Space C.
Damn, chill out, dog. Fuck, man.
Shut the fuck up, Tim Chain.
You got a lot of problems.
You're a mouse user, bro. You fucking asshole.
Psychologist Stephen Rice says the backseat driver is an individual who has a strong need to feel influence, and they're always looking for ways to express that need.
It's not
That's
that
addiction,
bro. It's
That's
not
an
that
addiction.
You know what?
Here's what another guy says. What?
I was
you
in
gonna give another computer.
No,
sort of-
this is not a computer story. I was in a Lyft one time, and the driver was driving like a fucking badass. He was like making U-turns and shifting into high gear every time and slamming his brakes. I'm like, dude, you're driving like a badass.
Yeah.
And I gave him a $3 tip on a $6 ride because he kicked ass at driving.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes when I see someone driving like a badass, I acknowledge it, and I don't backseat drive. I backseat compliment.
Yeah, this is part of the dysfunction.
Nope.
The celebration of aggressive poor driving.
Nah.
Where does a meddler's deep-seated desire for control come from? That's what these psychologists, these learned men, multiple learned men are just saying. If you grew up in an environment that was chaotic, it's almost a defensive sort of reaction, Berger says. We've seen this in homes where a parent has an alcohol problem. For example, those children tend to develop a need to control for themselves.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
Or a traumatizing life event.
I definitely grew up in a chaotic lifestyle.
Yeah.
But Dick, it's not just you know, this is something that I do again to save lives
Yeah.
and to get to our destination quicker.
Costing people. One in 7 people reported getting in a wreck because of a backseat driver.
No pain, no gain. What can I say? What can I say?
All right, I got one more thing. Here was an example from Wikipedia about backseat driving. You want me to read this?
Well, yeah.
This is a very small article on Wikipedia. This was the example they gave of backseat
let's hear
driving.
it.
This is totally real. A couple of episodes in Power Rangers Zeo shows examples of backseat drivers with Rita Repulsa and Goldar in the motorhome base they share with Lord Zed, Finster, and Rito. This is Wikipedia.
I believe
you know,
this.
the company that's asking for donations to
Yeah.
keep their top quality research
Yeah.
accessible at all times. Fucking example. Back on their way back to the palace, Rita's constant demanding lands the base a flat tire, which she and Zed blame on each other. After getting the tire fixed and back driving, Goldar shows up. Do you know who these people are? With the map that Zed needs and unintentionally proceeds to be another backseat driver by overly trying to help them with the map that lands the motorhome base with yet another flat tire. Surely Rita and Zed blame him for the mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there
That's
you go,
it.
Dick. There you go.
That's a perfect
the quality,
example.
That's the quality of people who have problems
Rita
with backseat
Repulsa.
drivers. Dick, you and I have been driving before, where I'll see someone do something insane in front of you, and I look over to you, and you're like, chill, just chill, Dick.
Yeah.
Sitting in
It
my
doesn't
car
bother me.
doesn't bother me.
It doesn't
I'll
bother
get there
me.
when I get there, I guess. And it drives me nuts, and I reach over
I
and
don't know why.
hit your horn. I honk your fucking horn.
You deserve the death penalty for that.
That's fucking awesome.
No.
And then I did it to another friend. I was in his car one time, and this person in front of me, swear to God, 15 seconds sitting there, and I'm sitting there sweating bullets at this point
You're
because I'm
sweating
looking.
right now. You're sweating right now.
Yeah,
Sitting
man.
right
Tim?
now.
So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him, and I look at his face, and I look at the horn, and I look at his face, and I look at the horn. You know, like you do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro, hit the fucking horn and let's get this train going, huh? And nothing. And finally, I lose my mind. I roll down my window, I honk his fucking horn, and I yell out and shake my fist at the driver from the passenger side. I'm like, hurry the fuck up! And I sit back down in the car, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and I honk his horn some more until this lazy, slack-eyed idiot starts to drive. What's wrong with people?
You got a good look at his face. Was he clean shaven? Because if he wasn't, he should pick up some Harry's razors. Today's show is brought to you by Harry's. Please visit harrys.com and use the promo code BIGGESTPROBLEM to save $5 off your first purchase. It's a new year. It's a new year, and it's time for a fresh start.
New year,
I'm
new
having
you.
a fresh start. I'm clean shaven. I am hungover, so I fucked that up a little bit, but it's still a new year. It's time to stop overpaying for a great shave.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're German-engineered blades. 5-blade cartridges. Oh my God, that's a deal. Close, comfortable shave, no cuts or burns. That's true, I can vouch for that. Quality is guaranteed. A full refund if you're not happy. Where can you get that? Where can you get a full refund if you're not happy?
No, I can't think of one place. that does
Nowhere
that.
on-
No,
nowhere
nowhere
on
else.
earth.
Nowhere else.
DJ Tim Chang Services.
Oh,
Not
really?
saying full refund if you're not satisfied with my services.
Can we get a refund for this episode?
Over 1 million guys have already made the switch to Harry's, and thousands more switch every day. Why pay $32 for an 8-pack of blades when you can get them for half the price at harrys.com, and they ship right to your door? You don't got to deal with that case.
Ships right to your door. Tim, do you shave?
I don't shave.
Yeah?
I like to keep my hair around. It makes me remember things. You know, every hair.
No, I have no
Every
idea
hair
what
is a
you're
piece of
talking
history.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that you're basically the opposite of a street art abolitionist with your face.
That's right. Abolitionists are bad people.
Biggest problem? To save $5 off your first purchase, go to harrys.com.
Thank you, Harry's, for supporting the show. And thank you guys for supporting the show. It really helps out. Dick, I got a real big problem. Okay. I recently released another video about how Disney ruined The Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay.
It's doing really well on YouTube, setting the internet on fire.
As they do.
Yeah. So I want to bring in Disney to expound on that point a little bit. Disney's my problem.
And they ruined Little Mermaid because they made it, like, nice. They gave it a nice ending.
They shat all over the original story.
Okay.
Right. I had an argument with a mutual friend of ours a long time ago. And he was talking about how much he liked The Little Mermaid. And I said,
What the hell kind of conversation was this? Guy's talking about how much he loves The Little Mermaid.
yeah, the Disney version of Little Mermaid. Yeah.
All right.
And he was saying that that he really liked The Little Mermaid because it was a good story and this and that. And I told him, I said, do you know the original story of The Little Mermaid? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, the original story has an ending that's really tragic. Mm-hmm. The mermaid dies at the end of The Little Mermaid. The original Hans Christian Andersen. Yeah, she turns into foam. That's the story. She turns into foam and gets a soul and goes up to heaven. It's kind of like
almost a better ending.
What?
They had a fling, turns into. I wished all romances ended like that.
Most of
Bitch just turned into foam. When I went to go check on her in the shower, she turned into a bunch of foam.
Hey,
what are you gonna do?
All my romantic encounters.
Yeah, that's the only reason we're playing the game. Like, it's so frustrating.
Of course, thank you, Tim Chang. Tim Chang.
Oh, I get it. It's like 2 chains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Tim.
I get it.
My man.
I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Clever.
But it's like at the
yeah,
same
anyway,
time.
so the original Hans Christian Andersen story has The
have
Little
you
Mermaid.
seen some of the girl, like,
Essentially, she makes the wager with the evil queen.
Ursula.
No, it's not Ursula.
Ursula
That's
the
the
Sea
Disney
Witch.
version. Yeah, based on Divine, the
Transsexual.
I don't know if she's transsexual so much as she's just
Drag.
she's a drag queen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, drag queens are not necessarily transsexual. So it's based on Divine. Yeah. So the original story had her make the wager where she would come to land, she would lose her voice, and then she had to marry the king, the prince. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the day after the prince married someone else, she would die. So she made that wager. She went up to land, and the prince mistakenly believes that another woman saves his life because after she spent all night with him, saving him, nursing him back to health on the beach. So the original story has this happen, right? And when the mermaid is bringing him back to health, right? She hears some women coming down from a temple up the hill, and then she runs off and hides. She swims off rather. Mm-hmm. And when the prince comes to, he sees this other woman nursing him to health, and he thinks that she is the one responsible for saving his life.
Logical.
So he marries this other woman, and the mermaid is. And then she has one chance to save her life. Her sisters sacrifice their hair for her, give it to the evil queen, and then they give her a magical dagger that if she kills the prince and then sprays her feet with blood, because the original story also had it so that it felt like she was walking on knives the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah, which doesn't really add anything to the lesson.
This isn't a movie that I want to see.
Well,
I've got to be honest with you.
Well, have you seen the original 1975 version?
No.
It's a really well done story, and the story is so much more powerful than Disney's slapdick ending, where instead of having the princess sacrifice herself because she realizes it's not the prince's fault sometimes you don't always get what you want. You don't always get who you want. And just because you sacrifice a lot for that person doesn't mean they're gonna like you back. And doesn't mean that you're always gonna be their first choice.
Yeah.
That's an important lesson that only exists in this one children's story that's been completely whitewashed from history. And I did a little research and I found before 1989's Disney version, almost every animated version of the story had the same exact Hans Christian Andersen ending. And after 1989, almost every single version has had the Disney ending or some variant thereof.
Yeah, that's like depressing though, man.
It doesn't matter if it's depressing. You learn an important lesson.
I don't know if that's true.
Why?
Learn that lesson?
Yeah, that's what I learned when I was a kid. That's
From
why it
that
stuck
story?
with me. Yeah,
and
it
then
stuck
you,
with me.
What? You decided like not to change, and was that the lesson that you learned?
No, the lesson is that sometimes just because you like someone and you make sacrifices for them, they might not like you back.
Oh, okay.
That's an important lesson that is completely lost in modern children's literature. If everything in children's literature, the only thing the Disney version teaches kids is entitlement. You get what you want. Everything has a happy ending. There are no life lessons in it.
Well, wait a minute. What about Aladdin? Because Aladdin tried to act like something he was not, and Jasmine was not into that. He had to go back to being Aladdin before she was into it. So that's a pretty good lesson, right? Aladdin had to be himself.
I don't know. I haven't seen Aladdin in a long time. I'd have to go back and look at that.
That's good.
I missed some sacrifices.
Oh yeah, what did you sacrifice, Tim?
Look,
Tim Chains.
Tammy Trujillo.
Tammy Trujillo.
I loved her. All right, I loved her. I loved her so.
Accent is all over the place. All right.
I loved her so much that I sacrificed my virginity. I was planning on fucking when I got married.
You were? Why?
Christianity, homie. Jesus, one love.
Correct, Tim Chains. I agree with that. Christianity, homie, is the correct answer.
Thank you so much, Adolf.
It's a mad
Same difference, man. Oxymoron.
It's not oxymoron.
All right.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, man. So Disney's done this with so many different stories throughout history. Hans Christian Andersen stories.
Yeah.
Even Frozen was based on a Hans Christian Andersen story. Did you know
Oh
that?
God, I hated that movie.
The Ice Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Disney does this. They just take, and here's the thing. If Disney was trying to supplant this story with this message, with another message, right? I would understand that. But they are just taking Little Mermaid and trying to make it as mass appeal and commercial as possible.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Their only motive here is profit. They don't give a shit whether or not anyone learns anything.
I don't know. That's a little bit simple.
Disney's only motive is profit. What else is there?
No, they make good movies.
I'm not saying.
I think they put a lot of heart in like Toy Story 3, and I don't think their only motive is profit.
Look, man, I'm not saying Disney doesn't make good movies. If Disney makes good movies or not is irrelevant as to whether or not those movies have a message. And a lot of people like the original the Disney version of Little Mermaid. I'm not saying it's not an entertaining movie. People are entertained by it.
Okay.
People like the stupid songs. They're stupid songs.
Under the sea. Man, I'm about to go pee. Yeah, DJ Tim Chang. Get that shit. Tim Chang.
So you would prefer it if they kept the original message, Disney?
Yeah.
Big animated splendor, multi-million-dollar budget, and Ariel just bursts into foam after walking on knives for the whole movie.
Well, the knives part, a lot of the animated versions, including the one that I am championing here, the 1975 version, a lot of them don't have the walking on knives part. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, the original one that I'm championing that diverged from the Hans Christian Andersen tale as well. However, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change the message. By not having that in there, it doesn't change the message because she still sacrificed something, and she didn't get what she wanted because she sacrificed. So you can still have that same tragic ending. I mean, where do you draw the line at some point? Do you rewrite Romeo and Juliet to have it a happy ending? Oh, they wake up together, they live happily ever after. Sure. You rewrite The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which, again, The Hunchback.
How did they change that?
I'd have to look into all the details, but they most Disney fairy tales are based on past properties, and they whitewash them to make them palatable for consumers, mass appeal as possible.
Yeah.
completely eliminating the message. And here's something else I learned. This is from, you know, the show Adam Ruins Everything? Adam Conover?
I have not watched.
Actually, a few people on Twitter have mentioned that we have both covered a lot of the same topics. It's pretty fascinating because we kind of like look at the same things to kind of tackle these social phenomenon. But he talked about how Disney has ruined copyright law in the United States.
There you go. That's true.
Yeah,
They keep extending it, right, to keep their precious Mickey.
right. So under U.S. copyright law, I think it's what, 70 years? That after 70 years, your claim to a copyright expires, and that copyright property goes into public domain. And without that, we lose out on a lot of art and history, like for example, Hans Christian Andersen, which Disney relies heavily upon to build their empire. Without Hans Christian Andersen's stories being in public domain, Disney wouldn't even have the opportunity to make The Little Mermaid. Or Steamboat, what's the original Mickey Mouse cartoon?
Steamboat Tina.
Steamboat Willie, I think, right?
Yeah.
Steamboat Willie? Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
No, Tim Chains.
That wasn't your joke.
That wasn't yours,
That
man.
was my joke now, copyright. 2016.
So would you be okay, Tim? Would you be okay with in 70 years your likeness becoming public domain?
Man, that's like the greatest way to like, you know, pay tribute to someone is someone just trying to be like me. That's what
Oh,
I-
okay. So
Yeah.
you think you just shoot it out of a cannon, like
Yeah,
the
man.
Playboy Bunny?
Shoot at a cannon.
Okay.
My
How about you? 70 years, you okay with people stopping that?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you have a lifetime, essentially, I think they chose 70 years because it's a lifetime for somebody to capitalize on their work and to make as much money as they can during their lifetime. And then afterwards, that property becomes. Imagine a song from the 30s, the 1930s. Essentially, all those songs from the 1930s should be public domain because most of those people and their children have long since passed on, and that art shouldn't be locked up forever. Because again, when you free these things open to public domain, you have companies like Disney that come along and can use those stories, and other people can use those stories to make their own empire. And they ruin them. Many more jobs. Well, ruining them, yeah, they in this case, they clearly did. But Disney's so hypocritical in their stance on copyright because they keep extending the public domain date. I think right now it's set to 2026 or something like that, 2019. So it's not just affecting Disney, it's affecting everything else that came out after Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I don't have a big problem with that.
Why
I think
not?
you and I just disagree on that. Well, you wrote the song, you drew the mouse. It's like, why does everyone deserve to have fight tooth and nail to keep it? Your kids, they should all fight tooth and nail to
So you're
extend it as long as possible.
So you're completely dismissing the argument that Disney wouldn't even exist today as it is. You know, The Little Mermaid saved Disney's company. They were going bankrupt.
Oh, yeah?
And The Little Mermaid, based on public domain, saved that company. So to suggest...
I don't think Disney has a problem with ripping off regular copyrighted properties, though. I don't think a copyright would prevent them from making Little Mermaid. Like, what's Hans Christian Andersen going to sue Disney? Ooh, good luck.
No, but that's irrelevant. Whether or not they rip off other copyrighted works is irrelevant. We're talking about specifically public domain. And the only reason is because Disney hasn't created anything new since Mickey Mouse. And they're not even doing anything with Mickey Mouse. Every now and then a new game, a video game comes out or something. But when's the last time you saw a Mickey Mouse cartoon?
Oh, the last time I saw, I don't know.
I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
No, you didn't, Tim.
There's
Tim
constant
Chains?
new Mickey stuff. There's new Mickey shows, like Mickey's Clubhouse. All those motherfuckers are around.
Mickey's Club. That's a branded Disney. There was a Disney cartoon, a Mickey Mouse cartoon that came out a while back. Disney's
No, there's
afraid.
tons of new Mickey stuff going on. Like there's for kids,
Not,
it's like
not
a
movies.
machine.
Not movies.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. I'm not up on all the little kid stuff.
I mean,
but there's tons of them.
If Disney, I have a theory.
Cars, all the Pixar stuff's new.
That's not Mickey Mouse.
No, but you said when's the last time they did something new?
That's Pixar. Pixar created it.
Southwest.
It's not Disney. It's not Disney. Disney can come by and acquire all these things, right? they're not creating anything new with Mickey Mouse. They're not creating any new movies. And I think it's because they're afraid of making a flop and hurting the company's brand and hurting the company's image.
You mean like a blockbuster Mickey movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
I don't-
something on
I don't
par
know
with
if
Little
they
Mermaid.
Ever did that with Mickey?
Yeah, of course they did. There were
Those-
lots of old Disney Mickey Mouse movies.
Sure,
Fantasia.
They made a new Fantasia.
No, Fantasia was a full movie.
No, but Mickey was only in one of the interludes. The Apprentice, that's only one song.
Well, how many movies has he appeared in since?
Mickey was used like Steamboat Willie style, where it was short before.
Well, he
Now
was
he's
the star. He was the star of a lot of their cartoons. Originally, a lot of their
He
cartoons.
still is.
I haven't seen a Mickey Mouse
They
cartoon
don't
in
have
a long
kids,
time.
man. Those kids love the Mickey's Clubhouse shit.
Not Mickey's.
do all the
Mickey's Clubhouse
dance.
is not animated.
Yeah, it is.
The-
What do you think? Is live action?
Are you talking about the one with like Britney Spears? As the star?
Dude, they really, every single generation of kids had. It's different.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right about that. I don't know. But regardless, the public domain argument, right? They have locked up all these properties in the public domain. If they were just doing it with their own company, that's a different case. If you want to make that argument, maybe there's a case. They are changing all law, all copyright law in the United States for everything, regardless of whether or not people are alive or care about their properties or want these things to be in the public domain. Regardless of that.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't know why you have a problem with that.
But again, because Disney's hypocritical, and they have used if they don't have a problem with public domain being basically evaporated, if they don't have a problem with that, then they should stop using public domain properties for their advantage.
Well,
It's hypocritical.
okay.
Furthermore, Disney has now bought up Marvel. They have acquired Pixar. Is Pixar still part of Disney? Yeah, Pixar's part of Disney. Marvel is all the original Disney properties.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, they picked up Star Wars. If you go to a toy aisle or if you go to a comic book store, anywhere from 80% of the IP you see in there is owned by one company. And when you see The Little Mermaid, by abolishing these stories because they might be uncomfortable for children, and they have that same philosophy with everything else across the board, maybe Wolverine stops killing people. Maybe Wolverine starts getting tame in Marvel Comics. Maybe Star Wars becomes a little bit more whitewashed. Over time, this aggregate influence one company has on all of our culture can be incredibly damaging and limiting to our culture. I think that's a real problem I have with Disney. They have way too much of a monopoly on our entertainment. Way too much.
Yeah.
And nobody's looking at this. We're only looking at monopolies when it comes to software, to cars, to railroads, and things like that. But when it comes to entertainment, everyone turns a blind eye to Disney. This one company.
They turned their open eyes to Disney because they love this shit.
I'm talking
I mean,
about looking at them critically.
Yeah.
I mean, people are consuming these Disney products, but at what cost? Because our culture is becoming dumber, I think, because of companies like Disney, because they have a monopoly on everything. They are the filter that we get all our messages from. All our kids are learning their important life lessons from one company.
I don't know, man. I see a lot of property coming through with the kids. You know, I got nephews, so I see all their little trends that they go through.
Yeah.
It's not all Disney. They get some weird stuff. They got dinosaurs that are also cars. They got my nephew's got a toy of a dump truck that's a Stegosaurus, and you pull on the tail and it shits out a trash can, like projectile pooping.
Yeah, that's an important lesson.
That's not whitewashed. They're into weird things.
Yo, Maida, let me ask you a question. Is that cool?
Maddox is the name.
Let me just ask you for a real question.
Yeah.
All right, look. If Disney asks you,
Axe, you think?
if Disney asks you
Yeah.
to play Beast in Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
would you say yes?
No, I don't. What are you talking about? The play? The play that
Nah,
came.
man, the cartoon. The
cartoon.
If they asked you to play Beast from the cartoon,
Yeah.
would you say yes? And they paid you a lot of money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you're a fucking hypocrite then.
No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Surprisingly cogent argument.
Yeah. Because I'm a subversive motherfucker. and you get me in there, and I'll put in some messages. I will put up a stink and change the script, and I'll put in some fucking messages in that story, buddy.
Like
You don't
drawing
want-
dicks in the cartoon? That's what
No.
that's what they do in Little Mermaid. There's
Yeah,
dicks
I
on the
know.
box, there's dicks in the
Actually, that's pretty funny. That's
I mean,
a sign.
no, that's what you're describing.
That's a
This
sign.
guy's-
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's a sign of artistic dissent. When he drew
Sure.
that dick on the cover of The Little Mermaid, and then Disney backtracked, like, oh, it wasn't a dick, and they whitewashed their own cover. Like, guys,
Well, yeah.
it's part of.
I
Yeah, but
there's a giant dick on our cover.
yeah, but the little kids don't know what that is. They're just looking at that, and it's like a giant shiny dong. And the only way you're gonna know what it is if you know what a dick looks like. Kids don't know that.
half of them do.
With the boys. Don't worry about it, man. It's fun. It was hilarious. Artistic dissent is great. Of course, I would always. I'm a stealth operative, buddy. That's why I would work
What would
for
you
Disney.
do? What's like an example of the stealthful descent, the artistic descent you would do is in the cartoon?
I'll give you an
of the
example.
Beast?
I don't know. I'm not in that position, but I'll give you an example of how I
Well,
did.
just, for fun.
I'll give you an example of how I did dissent at one of my old jobs at the telemarketing. I worked for a telemarketing company, and when Congress passed this law that was the Do Not Call Act, I think that's what it was called, where telemarketers could not actively call people who didn't opt in or work with another company. So it basically eliminated outbound telemarketing calls. Great, right?
Yeah.
So there was this petition that started going around in telemarketing circles. And it was all the telemarketers and their managers and supervisors and people who worked at these companies signing a petition to send to Congress to abolish this law. They say it's going to hurt our business, et cetera, et cetera. When it came to me, I not only didn't sign it, I removed names from that list before I passed it on.
All right.
Because I knew the industry I worked in was shitty, and I would forego my job just to see this shitty industry crumble. That's how I felt.
Oh,
And
you
so-
were hoping it would crumble.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I knew it was my way of paying for my website and going to college, but I knew it was a shitty industry. So that's how I work. Does that answer your question, Tim Chains?
No, man.
No, it
Okay,
didn't
okay.
answer
That's
my
my
question
question, man.
either.
What? What was your question then?
What kind? No.
You didn't answer the question. Like, how would you do it in Beauty and the Beast?
I don't know, man. I'd
Yeah.
have to think about it. Put me on the
Okay.
spot here. I don't
All
know.
right, all right.
Yeah. How would
You
you,
got more
how
about
would you
Disney?
do it?
I would whisper things like, I love Disney. Like that.
Yeah.
See if they can sneak it in
I would
there.
be like, yo, what up, Beauty? You should hire me for your DJs. DJ services, man.
It's pretty subversive.
What's her name? Tammy
Tammy Trujillo.
Tammy Trujillo. Yeah.
You got stuff about like slave labor or anything like that for Disney? Any kind of unethical business practices they're
Oh,
engaged in?
of
Oh my
course,
God, the
yeah.
biggest problem with Disney, every chick has to go to Disneyland.
Yeah,
Right? How many? Then you're slapping down $100, $200 just to get in the door.
Yeah.
Just to get in the fucking door. Then they run up with those cameras. Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
You got to remember this beautiful highway robbery. You got to remember this stick up, this romantic stick up where this chick's sticking you for $200.
Yeah.
All right, is that your problem?
That's my problem.
Disney. Oh.
One company has way too much power over they have way too much power and influence over what kids learn and see. They are the filter.
Yeah, okay. I don't. Kids get access to a lot of entertainment. They're on there all day, man.
But there's no metrics. Like, if you look, like I said, you go to a store, go to Target, and then count the number of Disney properties that are toys versus any other company. The Japanese version of The Little Mermaid, another version came out just after the 1989 version. It was a series, and the end message, it was like a Little Mermaid series with like 27 episodes, something like that. They were trying to get this golden tablet. The Little Mermaid couldn't get it. She didn't turn back into human, and she and the prince were sitting on the beach, and she says, well, sometimes you don't always get what you want. And the prince said, I guess you're right. We don't always get what we want. That's it. That's the important lesson. That's completely whitewashed from The Little Mermaid. That's my problem with Disney.
All right. My last problem is, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's worse than Disney, but I am interested to see where it's going to fall in the votes. Problem that everyone can relate to. I had a big occurrence of this week.
What?
Losing your remote.
Oh, great.
Losing the remote.
Losing the remote.
Losing the remote.
All right.
It's a problem that's plagued us since the beginning of time.
No?
Losing the remote. It will.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel
It
that.
will forever plague us. Remotes are getting smaller, ladies and gentlemen.
True.
True. The new Apple TV remote is so small. If that thing goes sideways, you can't see it if it's right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's the future where that thing falls between the cracks of a couch cushion like it's greased up. It's gone. You put it down on the couch, disappeared.
Sure.
Forever. And then you're knocking buttons around. You're sitting there just trying to relax.
Yeah.
After a podcast.
Yeah.
TV's fucking changing its own channels because
Yeah.
you're sitting on the remote.
You can't lift the cushion and just grab it.
Well, you don't know where it is. That's the problem. I lost every time I lose the remote. If I don't find it within like 5 seconds, I start to panic.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Extreme
that's
anxiety.
Right. That's right, Tim. Tim Chains.
I
you
learned,
don't
that, I
know
learned
if
that
you're-
word today.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you're ever going to find it again. Have you ever lost a remote for good?
No.
I wish Sean was here because this happened to us when we lived together. Sean was convinced that someone stole our remote.
Okay.
Like as a joke, or they had some kind of like stolen remote reselling ring.
But doesn't Sean also have dogs? It's possible the dog took it, chewed on it somewhere.
Well, we didn't have dogs then.
Okay.
I've never seen that happen either. I've had dogs my whole life. I've never seen them abscond with a remote.
Yeah.
The average time spent searching per week for a remote is 5 minutes, 5.35 minutes.
Whoa. I guess I was all wrong about this problem.
That amounts to 278 minutes. That's more than 4.5 hours a week
Good. Do
that we
something
spend
else. Yeah.
looking for remotes.
No, not 4.5 hours per week.
Over an average lifespan, the number is 370. That's this study. At 370, what is this? Hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks. 370
yeah.
hours the average person spends in their lifetime looking for a lost remote.
Yeah.
That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I mean, by choice, no one's forcing you to look for the remote. No one's
God
forcing you to
is.
watch TV. No.
What are you gonna do?
Gotta find the remote.
Yeah, you gotta find that remote, man. It fucks with you like a sliver in your brain all day when you can't find that remote.
Man, if you don't understand, all right, losing a remote is like losing Tammy Trujillo.
Yeah.
All right?
It's yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
that,
losing
Tim.
her
Yeah.
because she was gonna be the one to get you to the top. of
It's
the
like a
deep-
piece of your soul, Tim Chains.
my soul,
Yeah.
white soul.
I don't
I
know
got
what.
Tim Chains.
You're not.
It's stupid.
You're not
This is
white.
stupid. you get a sound effect, man. License the horn. You can get an air horn from several. Okay. I'm sorry I spoke.
Men
Great.
spent an average of 18 and a half days looking for a lost remote, while women spent just under 12 and a half days.
That
So
sounds.
men are doing all the work in the remote game.
Yeah. That sounds like stubbornness and control. Where's the psychologist talking about that shit, huh?
Missing a remote?
Yeah. How about that? That's literally you feeling powerless to control something. How's
Yeah.
that for psychology, huh, shithead?
I think
yeah.
it's literally
Yeah.
being powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're literally feeling powerless and are powerless to control something. So you're spending all your time instead of going out and doing something else. Or how about this? Get a fucking system. Put the remote in the same spot every time. I
Oh,
do that.
please.
I never lose my remotes.
Here's what else you could be doing with your time. Here's what people spend their time doing. Just to put this in perspective. You spend 3 months of your life in traffic. Okay?
Yeah, thanks to people who
Traffic,
don't
horrible.
have backseat drivers.
Okay. Traffic is horrible, right?
Yeah.
3 months. 3 months. That's on par with 2 weeks of looking for a remote. You spend 17 days of your life kissing. I'm sorry, 14. That's 2 weeks. So you spend as much time kissing in your life as you spend looking for a lost remote.
I don't. My numbers are way different.
You spend no time on the remote and
All my time kissing.
all your time kissing.
Yeah.
What a romantic man.
Yeah.
Women spend 1 year of their life deciding what to wear. How about that?
Huh.
And we spend 48 days having sex. So, there you go. What are you supposed to do if you lose the remote? Like, at what point do you just quit and buy a new one? Because that's the thought. That's the panic that's in our mind. As soon as it's gone,
I guess.
what do I do?
You get another one, or you use the manual controls on the TV, or you
It doesn't
watch
exist
something
anymore
else.
on some of these
They
things.
They do. Even TVs that you don't think they do, usually on the bezel there is some kind of control.
Of course on a TV, but we've got so many boxes now. You got a cable box. There aren't buttons on it anymore.
I don't know, man. I think
Chromecast doesn't have buttons on it. You're fucked if you don't have the remote.
but Chromecast is controlled through your cell phone or your PC.
Oh
So-
my God, I don't even know. I don't have one.
This is all converging very, very rapidly. Everything that has a remote control to it can be controlled by your cell phone, either now or eventually. In fact, back in 2003, I had a cell phone, my Nokia E90. It had an infrared port and an app on it that was completely free. All the apps were free on Nokia way back in the day. Where, well, most of them, you could control anything you wanted with your cell phone. I had so much fun at bars, turning off the TV, changing the channel, turning up and turning down air conditioners. That shit was fucking awesome.
You could turn up air conditioners?
Yeah, I have a
How?
remote control air conditioner right now. They make those things. They make remote control. I have a remote control fan in the corner of this room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That you can control with your phone?
you can control anything as long as it has infrared.
Well, that makes the remote even more important.
No,
Especially
it
if
makes
it's
it
your
less
phone.
important.
Especially if it's your phone. You're going to lose that next.
Well, people lose their phones all the time.
All right, that's my problem.
Okay, good problem, Dick. All right, got anything else?
Nope. Thank you, Tim Chains.
Yeah.
Do you have-
I got a problem. Damn.
You have a
Y'all
problem?
just
What do you
skip me?
mean?
What's your problem, bro?
Yeah,
Look.
we're just definitely skipping you.
Yeah.
Look, normally I'd say my problem is why Tammy didn't take me back, right? But my real question is, does jet fuel melt steel beams?
That's your problem?
Is that your
That's
problem?
my problem. Does it melt steel beams?
That's a dank meme, bro.
Hey, man.
That's not going on the list.
Nice try, Tim Chains. All right, guys, my problems this week were street art abolitionists and Disney.
My problem are backseat drivers and losing your remote. Thank you, Tim Chains. You got anything else to plug?
DJ Tim Chang's DJ services at outlook.com. Email me. Hit me up with some song requests.
All right. We got another question of the week in here.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas. Question of the week here. What do you think would allow you to see more titties? Being able to turn invisible or being able to turn into an animal? Not an insect, just animal.
Not an insect.
Not an insect. Good.
A few things to think about.
Yeah.
One, if you're a dog or a puppy, girls love puppies, as Dick has said. They'll probably bring you inside and you can chill out. As long as you don't piss your shit on the floor, you can probably see some titties.
It's really well thought out.
Also, if you're a bird, you can fly right the fuck up to a window.
Yeah, you could.
I guess you don't really have to be a bird to do that, but it probably helps.
Yeah, it does
Definitely
help.
have to
Things
be.
about being invisible.
To fly up to a window.
Obvious things. It's easy. The things to think about, though, are footprints and knocking shit over.
Those are the things to think about.
Can't
Yeah.
necessarily get in just being invisible unless the doors are locked. Whereas being a puppy, someone would just let you in. Maybe being able to be an invisible puppy would probably be the best option, but that's not a choice. Discuss it.
It's not a choice.
Get back to me.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would you see more boobs if you were invisible or if you were an animal, not an insect?
Always invisible. Always. Because here's the thing. Seeing boobs is half the battle. The other half is jerking it. So how are you going to jerk it as a puppy or a bird?
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't think about
Didn't
that.
think about that,
You didn't
Matthew
think.
McConaughey.
Yeah, you didn't think of that through. Weird, Matthew McConaughey.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's see. I got some fuck ups. Those are usually funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys, whatever, fucking stupid. So what you guys didn't realize is the fucking fact that the reason the bosses don't allow you to come, whatever, fuck, I can't speak. I'll call back again. Fuck.
No, don't bother. It's not getting on. Okay. So the mysterious gift giver, the Riddler.
Oh, yeah?
We know who it's not. We're
Okay.
narrowing down suspects.
Let's hear it.
Hey guys, it's Bud Sanchez. I'm just calling to confirm that the package was not me.
Thank God.
And there's 3 things about that package that gives it away that's not me. Number 1, I'm a sincere person. I'm not gonna send you a bunch of dumb shit like that. I'm gonna at least try to send you something cool. I know
What do
last
you
time
mean?
wasn't
All of that
great,
package was
but,
cool.
2, I'm not a Republican. I think that Obama hack was really dumb. And
This is the evidence. He's laying out his case.
Yeah.
Fuck. 3, I can't even count. Fuck, what was my last point? Oh yeah, 3. I'm not a men's rights activist. Like, I think that shit's dumb. So, yeah, that package is not me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Alright, Dad.
But
Okay.
we would have believed you if you just said you didn't do it.
Yep.
You don't need to present a case like to a jury, a sequestered jury.
Okay, last one.
Hey, Dick. I happen to work in the food industry, and I go to work sick all the time. You know why?
Great.
They don't fucking pay me if I don't come in.
All right.
If I
That
don't
doesn't
get paid,
make you a good.
how am I
That doesn't
supposed
make
to
it
buy
okay.
things like Harry's razor blades or your stupid bonus episode.
Okay.
It's not stupid. You're stupid. Ass.
Yeah, it doesn't make it okay if
Okay.
they don't pay you. That's not a good. That doesn't remove you of the moral responsibility to not infect people with your disease.
Yeah.
Every single person. Well, they don't pay. Oh, well, that's exactly what the Nazis said. That's exactly what they said. Well, I gotta go. I gotta shovel these Jews into the ovens, or else I don't get paid. You know
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
That
What's my-
that caller was literally Hitler.
No, he wasn't.
Tim Chang.
Get the fuck out of here.
Today's show is brought to you by Harry's. Please visit harrys.com and use the promo code BIGGESTPROBLEM to save $5 off your first purchase.
Welcome to the biggest problem in the universe, the show where we discuss every problem in the universe, from Smash Brothers to Burning Man. With over 4 million downloads, I'm Maddox. With me is Dick.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
And Sean, our audio engineer.
Hello.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, the dating girl, Erin Tillman.
Woo! The dating advice girl.
The dating advice girl. Oh my God.
Welcome. Do not make us start over, please, Aaron.
Close
Give
enough.
us a mulligan.
Close enough. I'm Erin Tillman, the dating advice girl.
We went over that like
very beautiful dating advice.
Thank
girl.
you.
Let's start
Alrighty.
there.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Here we go.
Thank you.
One of those shows, guys. One of those shows. Episode 69. Our erotic episode.
Yep.
Yeah. This is going to be a sex-themed episode. Dick, but before we begin, biggest problem from last week is no problem.
What?
It was actually a draw.
Oh,
For the-
horseshit.
For the
What
first
is it?
time, it's as of this recording, no
Yeah.
joke, it's 1,222 for each problem.
That
It's
I
the
don't
first
believe
time it's
that.
ever happened. I've been so Dick, you just came back from Burning Man, and I've been checking the Twitter feed, and throughout the entire week, people have been constantly tweeting at me. They say, "Hey Maddox, it's tied at this number," and "Hey Maddox, it's tied at this number." And finally today, when I went to record, it was still tied at one. It's 1,222 as of this recording.
Huh, how interesting. Do you think people are trying to make them outrank one another, or do you think that's just entirely organic? Like that's everybody just thinks they're both kind of problems.
I think it's organic. I think that everybody does think it's their problems because, first of all, the vote is too high for it to not be a problem, and they think that toddlers. Aaron, last week we
Yes.
talked about toddlers as a problem, and also people who can't cook
Oh.
as problems. Which
Those
do you
are
think?
pretty equal. Pretty equal.
Okay.
Can you cook?
Not very well. I date guys who can cook.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
But I like
You guys are a perfect
toddlers.
match then.
Yeah.
There
Let
you
Maddox
go.
tell you about his weird cinnamon apple pies and his
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
There we go.
his date afternoon. What gumbo? Was that what he made?
I made
Spicy
gumbo.
romantic gumbo. That's his specialty. He'll bring you over. He'll open the door in a silk kimono with a big steaming pot of gumbo. That's a
You know
hot date
what?
for this guy.
What an asshole. Here's the thing. I would love if somebody cooked gumbo for me. And actually, I was mistaken. It was not gumbo. It was jambalaya. I made jambalaya.
Either way.
It's a
It's a
delicious.
big heartburn waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Or fart.
okay.
Or diarrhea. Yeah, this is a romantic
You know
Yeah.
what?
afternoon.
Cook your own meals, princesses. Both of you
I'll take
princesses.
the pie. I'll take that
You
cinnamon
take.
apple pie.
You're getting nothing because I'm going to eat the pie by myself with my delicious gumbo, and I'm going to sit in my fart cloud. Fine. You guys can. You
Great
guys
impression
can go.
of a toddler.
Great. Yeah, a lot of first-time child expert advice from the last episode too. But
Yeah, from you.
From you,
You're the one
dickhead.
teaching people how to discipline their toddler. A difference that you learned about only seconds before. That babies are not the exact same thing as toddlers.
you know what, dickhead? I looked it up. So somebody was
You
trying to
looked it
defend
up
you
because you didn't believe me.
No, because somebody was trying to defend you, and they posted a comment. They said, "Hey, Maddox,
God.
here's a link to Wikipedia/infants," and they sent